Says we're going live.
Yay!
Yay! There we are.
Hello,
everybody.
Hello.
I can hear Wendy. Yay!
Yay! It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. So, along that line, and our technical problems and challenges, and hearing one another. By the way, I just had demo work, so I have a thing in my mouth now, and I have to learn how to talk with this thing in my mouth. So, Wendy, we had a gathering last night. Wendy wasn't there; she was just asking about it. But what I didn't get to tell you is that every time I opened my mouth, somebody gave me grief. Because I was even worse yesterday. I really couldn't talk. I was slurring and.
Yeah, you definitely sound different. Oh boy.
So yeah, hopefully the learning curve will go by. Anyway, next Sunday we're going to do a live. We're going to do the show live. If anybody can get to Manuka, Illinois on Sunday, join us. So, won't that be fun?
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Wendy and I will be side by side, and and the participants will have behind us or wherever. They'll wave to you. Okay, tonight's topic, boy, this is being recorded. Boy, oh boy. What is God?
You know, it's funny. You know how I always do a little research? And I actually found a documentary, but I didn't, you have to buy it.
Oh, that was the title, What is God?
Well, iGod. Like
iGod?
iPod, yeah.
Huh.
So I found that
when I was coming up with the title, I was like, do I say what is God? Should I say who is God? I'm like, is saying what is God, is that disrespectful?
Right. But I don't think that is, because we all have this feeling of him not being a person necessarily. So I think what is also appropriate as well as who.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured he would understand.
Right? Oh, absolutely.
I wasn't gonna get any trouble for that one, and if I do, I do. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I will.
I don't think so either. I think it's good.
Yeah, I think so too. And did you see my Facebook posts yesterday?
No.
The last couple of days.
I've seen a couple.
I was kind of stressed out about something, and I wanted to center myself. So I got up my prayer book like I do, and I opened to the page that I just know that it'll open to the right page, and that in that prayer, whatever prayer my eyes land on, that prayer will have, a meaning for me. So I do it. I open the prayer book, my eyes land on a page, I start reading it, and it's talking about, me talking about my trespasses, and I'm like, ooh.
My what?
Ooh, that is not what I was thinking. I'm thinking, really? I'm screwing up on this issue? I didn't think I was. I thought I was just confused. I didn't know I was trespassing. Well, that's okay. This is all going in my mind as I'm still reading the prayer, and I'm thinking, okay, mm-hmm. I'm just going to finish it out. Maybe something will be later on down the page that, and sure enough, got further down the page, something about caring for me, even though I was, oh God, what's the words? I should have the words. Even though I was completely in the, that I did not understand the situation. And the way it was phrased, hold on, I got to get that. Sorry, I don't usually do this, I know. Sorry. Oh, this is terrible. I'm sorry I ran off on you guys. I don't like to do that. I don't usually do that.
Oh, no, you have never done that.
I have never done that. Mm-mm. First time for everything. Watch, it's not in this one.
I could find it on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, you can.
If my page will switch here. There we go.
It's my we're taking way too much time. My post started with "God cracked me up" or something like that. Anyway, the reason I brought it up is that amongst all the bazillion.
Here it is.
Go ahead.
When I got to "Thou didst nourish me while I was devoid of any understanding."
Cracks me up still. I was devoid of understanding. I'm like, yep, that's me. Stumbling around, devoid of understanding, and still God nourishes me. And anyway, so my point is, so I'm reading the prayer, and I burst out laughing, because to me it was like God was like, "You big dummy," you know. So, of all the infinite things that God is, I am sure that one thing He is He has such an awesome sense of humor.
Yeah.
Love for us, but you know, you are devoid of understanding.
Yes, I am. And that's why I'm in this book right now.
And thank goodness you're still nourishing me, because I would have starved to death long ago. Okay, so
right.
What is God? Let's see what we can find out. Obviously, we're not going to get the definitive, final, complete, comprehensive answer, but we'll get a clue or two. But before we do that, we're going to do something else.
Yeah.
What are we going to do, Wendy?
We're going to do a healing. I can't wait. I just love all that love energy. I just can't wait.
Awesome. Me too. So this will be the first time I do it with the thing in my mouth.
Yummy, fine.
Yeah, but you know how it's kind of, you know, I can feel it, so kind of just it's a little distracting.
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay.
You'll be good. You're going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, they are. So for any of you that are new to Immersion into Source, welcome, and we're so glad you're here. I'm going to step off screen. Wendy's going to be mute, so you're not going to hear anything for a little while. During that time, I'm going to be calling on Source. First, I'll get myself centered, say a prayer. Say a prayer, not the devoid of misunderstanding one, but a different one. And get aligned, and energy will start flowing through. And it'll reach you wherever you are, whether you are devoid of understanding or not, whether you're trespassing or not, whatever you're doing, which we hope what you'll be doing during this time is be in a comfortable position, optimally. Nobody's bothering you. You've told your family that you need some quiet time right now, and lie down if you can. I laid on the floor sometimes. So take deep breaths, stay centered, keep your spine straight. That allows flow to move through you better. When you're crunched over, you're crunching up. The spine is the pathway for everything. The highway, pathway, whatever you want to call it. And so relaxing your shoulders and your jaw and your gut and everything. Just let that all relax, be calm, and allow it to flow through you. If you get some tension and some stress, just breathe through and let it go. Just let it go. And it'll go away. Just know that it's something that you needed to let go of. And you don't even need to know what it was. Maybe you will know, maybe you won't. And different people feel different things. Some people see things, Some people feel embraced by Source, God, angels, whatever. Some people feel twinges and pains in their body. Some people get emotional. Some people don't notice anything. It's all good. Everybody's different, and each session is different. So what you feel today isn't necessarily what you're going to feel next week or last week. What else, Wendy? Anything?
I can't think of anything else. Enjoy.
Yeah. But my voice really does sound funny. Okay, so
Ready, go.
relax, and we'll be back to explore the topic. Whoa. That was pretty intense for me.
Yeah.
Was it for you too?
Well, I was really into this place, and I felt like somebody came and put their hands on my head, and all of a sudden I heard this knocking on the wall. And it scared the bejeebers. Like if you watch the replay, you'll see me go something like that. Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's pretty crazy.
I'm like in it, and I felt like, you know how when you feel dizzy and you feel like you're gonna fall over?
Mm-hmm.
It was like me and the whole room, like my whole room was like getting tilted, and I was like, that's weird.
That is weird.
I'm like, okay, no, wait a minute. All right, okay, so then it came back because, I'm sure my fear or my, like shock was, brought it back. And then a little bit later, so I have a concept of myself in relation to the space around me, and what's outside, and what's. All of a sudden, it was like felt like other, like the space moved. So like the corner of the room was in here, and my body was weird. It was like, like in a like in a movie or something, like they'll show like the psychedelic things moving around or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't round like that. It was more like angular, but it was still that kind of weird flow. I'm like, what's going on?
We have a comment that there was a conversation / dialogue going on, something powerful, some big shift of some kind is coming.
Huh.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, well, and you were experiencing that in your own way.
Yeah. Maybe
the release of self-doubt and invalidations went to the light.
Well, that was worth your nickel. So I got into my head a message. This is at the very beginning before those other two things happened, and I was like, "Oh, that's profound." I got this message in my head: God is love, and I'm like, "I've heard that before, once or twice." I'm like that. Okay, so yeah, God is love, and they're like, no, take it the other way. I'm like, what? They're like, love is God. Oh. Love is God. So love that you experience, love that you feel, love that you see, and love that you notice in any of its myriad forms, whether it's of yourself, people, plants, watching, you know what I mean? When you feel love, that is God.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's really the same thing. Love is God, God is love. But when you turn it that other way, every time you notice love, you're seeing God. I'm like, oh, that's okay, we're done. Good night, everybody. It was perfect.
That is perfect.
And so simple. I mean, at least my little brain never thought of it before. I mean, until they said it to me. I was like, oh, duh. Okay.
We have another comment.
Okay.
The little drilling that I usually feel by my right eye was happening by both eyes. Then I had sharp pains in my left eye. I had a lot of itching and tingling in the back, top of my head, and by my nose, which is happening by my nose right now, by the way.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder what's said about nose and eyes, and I don't know. It's so fascinating.
I think it's just the energy.
Yeah.
The high energy and how you respond to it.
Right. But that one one of our regulars, she feels it in her hand, right? Tingling in her hand.
In her right hand.
In her right hand. And didn't it shift to the other hand, or was both hands or something?
There's been times where it's been both. Anyway, I've got another one. Oh, but go ahead and finish.
No, I'm just saying, so it's interesting. So she feels in her hands, some in her nose, some in her eyes. The one that they called last week was in the third eye, know, so anyway, okay, so what were you going to say?
I saw swirling purple colors, then it looked like curtains blowing in a breeze.
Oh,
That's nice.
That feels heavenly.
So she releases with the breeze.
Yeah. But purple curtains, come on. Awesome.
I know, I love it.
Yeah.
My favorite color.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so one of the first questions that I wanted to start with, and I hope you all have some questions out there, is just, we always call God him. Mm-hmm. You know, he says this and he says that, but is God really a him or a her? Are there goddesses, or is it just a combination, more of a yin yang thing?
God is beyond gender. One of them's going, the boss. we don't really, like, he's like, he's the boss, but, like the boss, it's not like a he, she thing, because it's beyond he, she.
Mm-hmm.
But he encompasses that. The same as man or mankind encompasses male and female. At least that's how it was originally when the word was designated. Humanity designates male and female. These are words that encompass both genders. So, when you say they, that can be male and or female. So he is just, it's a term. And you can say she, because clearly there are feminine aspects of God as well as masculine. But like we as male and female, we, the yin and the yang, that we find another to complement that and to create that, to, like, we're the one and find the other. God doesn't need another to be complete. He's complete in and of himself. His self, herself, whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So tell us what God would like us to know about God. Something maybe we don't know.
Something that we don't know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, before you said something we don't know, I've got, so
okay.
Obviously he loves us, and then I got an image of a hand coming out, and you're in his hand, that we are all in his hand at all times. So even when you feel like you're in a storm, or you're drowning, or you're, stumbling around in the muck, you're in God's hand. But that is something that I think we know. Let's see if we can come up with something. But am I clear? I have this image of, okay, so somebody walking through that, but this is something we don't know. I'm not clear. It's so I don't know that I'm not seeing it. Sometimes the messages come so poof, 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 like right. And other times I'm like spinning around going, what? What are you telling me? That in the Bible, I think it's in the Old Testament, because you hear it in Judaic traditions a lot. Be still and know that I am God. Obviously, that's something that we've heard before, but that is like the ultimate way of knowing what God is. when you are still and know that he is God, and allow that to infiltrate you, permeate through you, in and through your all yourselves. There's still something about, you know, about not knowing something about God walking around, but it looks like a human form, which is weird. What does that mean? Oh, that is different than like my comprehension of like the God. You know, I kind of saw it as like there's me on the earth in a galaxy in a universe within multiple universes within, you know, within, and then that God kind of was all around that and permeating through all of that. Like, I mean, I don't know how else to envision it. The universe is endless, so you know, how do you, but that's just how my little brain gets it. So in my head, I was like, okay, so God is in every cell, and this doesn't negate that God is in every cell, because he is every cell, he is everything. But at the same time, so I'm like, so like I'm kind of like in my head, like, well, he knows everything because he is everything, so it's kind of like osmosis or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also walking around. There's also like, you know, obviously it's a fragment of, you know, him, because that, you know, he's everywhere. But like, so it's not only that it's him in you, but he's also walking past, you know, hey, checking on his garden, checking on his creation, you know, wouldn't you? Oh, yeah. I guess. Well, what am I saying? That was a silly thing to say. Who am I to? What's the word? Imagine that I would know what God would do. That God would be like me. That's kind of crazy. But the vision is of like, if you have a garden that you created, wouldn't you like want to walk through? You know? And he has an infinite garden, so he's infinite paths, and he's all over the place infinitely. That is a whole other layer to what God is for me.
Mm-hmm. And for me, that is just punctuates the we are all one, we're all connected. Because if God is in every cell of me and walking by, perhaps in the shape of you, then we're all connected. Just a second. I didn't turn my phone off. Didn't think anybody would call me. And then somebody made a comment here too, you know, same thing, kind of like God is within us and we are all God energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why I like that punctuation of oneness, you know, even with the bugs that are, you know, chirping out in my backyard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions? Or?
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you, we were talking about something new tonight. Usually I have a page full of questions. And and today I was just like, I had two. And I kind of thought, well, we'll see what happens. You know, I was just like, I just got to where I was looking up all these things and I was like, the questions will come, you know? So we'll see if the questions will come. But I did come up another question. This is something I thought of. I've read a lot of books and, you know, conversations with God. I haven't read all of them. And then I read some books that are supposed to be channeled from him. And are there other books? Are these books like good places to maybe besides, okay, prayer and meditation are obviously good ways to connect yourself and to communicate. But are these books other ways to get to know God better, or is there any other suggestions that they would have for reading?
Yes, as soon as you asked with your question, I had my answer right away. But so while you're continuing your question, I'm like checking. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that this is not me talking, because it's such an obvious answer. But scripture, revelation, revealed scripture is like the most powerful words you can read, because those beings have been like, they're showing them how they energetically are different, that they're so infused with God beyond what most of us could possibly handle. We just couldn't. That their words have more power. And I don't know about you, but when I'm somewhere and I hear a prayer that was revealed, that just, I read one, it just is so much, I can say a prayer out of my mouth, out of my words, but it just is never, it's still functional. I'm still in submission or in gratitude or whatever's going on. But when I use those words that were revealed, it knocks my socks off. They're saying that, so they're talking about commentary. So there's a lot of commentary on revealed words, by saints and prophets of God. And then there would be like lay people or clerical people or clergy that would, theologians that would study and add more, kind of help decipher that for us. And so that's good to use as an adjunct to the scripture. Just remembering that they were not of the same caliber, of that same fiber, of that same energy as these others. So their words aren't going to be as powerful, but it is helpful for us to understand the revelation, because the more, like we were talking last week about, if there's an issue that we're a problem, an idea, a concept, whatever that we're talking about, I'm looking at it from here, you're looking at it from over here. And so with multiple people looking at it and discussing what they're seeing, we can get a better understanding of what the thing is. And they're like, these beings that God sends to us are held in such high regard and esteem by others, even in spirit, and we've got pretty cool beings that come and help us, but those few beings that have that job of going around and manifesting on planets and giving revelation, they are like, cooler than Mick Jagger, they're like they're the really special people, beings. And yeah, if God sees fit to send these beings with words, who am I to say, well, I don't need to read those,
Right.
Not that I can't have other experiences, but it's a good idea to see what he was saying,
Yeah.
Kind of went through a lot of trouble. And these, and these beings, well, not that anything's in trouble for God, but these beings, all of them were persecuted and, martyred, had all kinds of troubles and stuff. They really suffered. And that in the way God works, that the power of that sacrifice imbues more energy into their message and into their what is given to us through that.
Wonderful.
And they're showing like, so relating that back to what is God. God is like, if it's a magnificent, immense quilt, like he's like got all the pieces organized, and he knows how they're all going to flow together, and how this piece fits with that piece, and the colors, and so sending this manifestation there, and that suffering there, and all these things. It's all to create this beautiful and enhance this just magnificent tapestry, quilt, whatever you're envisioning. And he's got it all. It's all kind of flowing. It's beautiful. I mean, the image that they're showing me, which is just something that my human brain is understanding. But so that's another.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, so it's another aspect of God, that he's got everything. Well, again, in his hands, under control, or not control, but there's a design. There's maybe it's there's a design, and we've heard that, of course, many times, that God's design or whatever. But
is God walking in Syria?
Heavy-footed. I see him very, very, very tall. And each step is like shaking, shake, shake. And so when I should probably have clarified. When I say that he was walking by, I don't mean physically, energetically. You don't see him. I mean, you can see, obviously, if I see you, I see God, right? But that image that they're showing me, it's not of a physical being. And so this walking through Syria is very heavy-footed, like just like pushing things into the ground, like sending energy out in the ground. It's like a crack. It's a fissure in the world tapestry. I know we tend to think, well, Syria's over there. It doesn't affect me, but it does. It's all part of this planet, and that rip, that tear that's happening there is affecting everybody. Clearly in different ways, but there's a if we go back to the quilt image, that seam is being ripped open in order to be re-sewn. That ripping open causes the whole quilt then to change, and then when they fix it, when we fix it, when are we going to learn to fix these things?
We're learning.
I know, we mess it up, and God's like, okay, no more Band-Aids for you people. That's just totally me kidding. That was not them talking.
Does God feel emotions such as excitement, anger, frustration, sadness?
Not in a way that we can kind of relate to, so it's hard to say those words associated with God. But yet he's not static. So like, you're not going to see him skipping for joy. Like, It's like the sun. You can see the sun's rays. You know what the sun does for you. But we can't get close to the sun. It would fry us. So we see some of the rays of light because they're saying like, we can't see them. We can't get that close. So the comparison is like for us humans, that we need the sun. We wouldn't exist without the sun, not in this form anyway. But you can't get over there without frying up. So you see the rays and things, and the sun. And while you see that the sun is perhaps having sunbursts, where they call them those sunspots or whatever they call them, and different, there are, the sun isn't static, the sun is doing things, but still, as far as for us, it just is like the same sun every day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But with a telescope, you can look. And so a telescope would be like, like a messenger or something that can come and be an intermediary between us and the sun. In the military, commanders, generals, whatever, leaders pride themselves on the loyalty of their men and women, of their troops. It is nothing. It pales. It's a drop in the bucket of what these beings standing here are showing, what their position is in regards to God. It's so pure and heartfelt. It's overwhelming. It's very, very cool. So what is God to inspire such magnificent loyalty? Isn't even like a good enough word. I don't even know what word you could use.
I don't know about anybody else, but I can feel it.
Aww.
I'm not even in your room.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah.
I think if we, all of us, walk out of this session tonight and remember that love is God, that wherever we see love, when you see a mom kiss their baby, when you see grass growing, when you see whatever you see that inspires you, that is love, then that's God. I know I'm going to kind of flip that one around for myself. Mm-hmm. Again, because we can't understand God, but we got some little tidbits.
Oh, here's a comment. Mm-hmm. During the healing, I saw an image of a person in quotations, sitting in a bus driver's seat. Was this a reminder that God is driving the bus?
Yes, and and not yes. The short answer is yes. There's more to it. Not only it's not only that God's driving the bus, but God knows the route. And doesn't need to confer with you. Doesn't even need to acknowledge you. God knows the route. He's going to drive that bus. You just get on and sit down and know that you're going to get there.
She said, I saw this from behind, like being a bus passenger.
Exactly. That's how I saw it too.
Perfect.
Like his face. Mm-hmm.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
That's what we got?
Yeah, I think we can call it a night.
Yeah. It's a good ending spot.
Yeah, I'm happy with what we got.
Me too.
All right. Hopefully by the next time we're together, I'm a little better, a little more
You're fine.
comfortable with my thing.
It was barely noticeable in some spots.
Really?
There's a couple,
Yeah.
you know, but
not even one day. So
that's right.
So then I'm not doing too bad. So we'll see.
Perfect.
Okay, everybody, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We love you. Send love to you. Send God to you. God is love, right? Or love is God. What do we say?
That's
Love
right.
is God. Okay. Good night. Mwah.
Bye.